If you're looking to build a $1,000 small form factor gaming PC in 2026, well, you came to the right place. So let's get into it. Starting off with the CPU, we have the Ryzen 5 7600X. Now, this is still a great 6-core 12-threaded CPU in 2026. However, I actually recommend getting something slightly different, like a 7600 non-X or a 9600X. This is because the 7600X has a TDP of 105 watts, and it just gets too hot in a case like this. You can undervolt like what I did, but I would just recommend getting something else like a 7600 or a 9600X to keep those temps in check, and you'll be just fine. And to cool this CPU, we have the Thermalright AXP90 X36. The X36 stands for 36 millimeters in height, which is kind of all this case supports. So as long as you get a CPU cooler that's 38 millimeters or smaller, that'll be fine as well. All right, and for the motherboard, we have the MSI B650i Edge Mini ITX board. I picked mine up for about 125 bucks, and you can keep it at that 120-ish range or lower. I think that's a good deal. Just make sure you get a B650 board and not an A620, especially for AM5. Mini ITX boards are just very expensive, and so I would recommend buying this off the secondhand market like eBay or even locally like Marketplace. Honestly, any B650 Mini ITX board will work just fine. Next up, for everyone's favorite component in 2026, we have the RAM. This is the Kingston Fury 16GB DDR5 kit clocked at 5200 megahertz. I actually snagged mine for a really good deal of about $140 on eBay. As long as you can get a 6000 megahertz kit, dual channel, for anything 160 or less, that's a good deal and you'll be just fine. And for the storage, we have the Western Digital 1TB NVMe Gen 3 SSD. This is also a part I recommend buying off the secondhand market. I know people can be skeptical about that, but as long as it's got a good health rating, honestly, there's nothing really to worry about. Just make sure it's formatted and ready to go. And for a build like this in this price range, 1 terabyte is kind of my bare minimum. But just shop on places like eBay or Marketplace. But as always, I'll have links to the parts I use and alternatives down in the description below. All right, this is where the build starts getting pretty fun, because for the power supply, we have the Apevia Flex 500 watt. Now, before you go in the comments and bombard me with it being an F-tier PSU, keep something in mind. We're trying to hit a budget of $1,000 on an AM5 system, and being Mini ITX is almost impossible if you're buying the top of the line components. I've honestly benchmarked, stress tested this computer with this PSU, and I've had no issues. So I would just pay the $50 and get one like this. You don't really need anything higher end, but if you want to drop the extra $100 for some peace of mind, that's just fine. And for most arguably the coolest part of the build, we have the case. This is the Johnsbow NV10 that I picked up off Newegg for $85 brand new. And honestly, this is like the coolest build I've ever done. It's got two different compartment layers to it. One for the front that you're seeing right here that houses the motherboard, RAM, CPU, and cooler, and the back side that actually holds the GPU and the PSU. Now, in order for the GPU to fit in the back of this case, it comes with a PCIe riser cable, and I will say as a disclaimer that mine came faulty, and many cases of the Johnsbow variant do as well. It still works, but just make sure if you're copying this case, you go into the BIOS and set your PCIe Gen support to Gen 4 or Gen 3 and not automatic. That'll fix any instability or crashes you might be having with this case. But if you want some peace of mind and you want to pay the extra 30 bucks for a PCIe riser cable, be my guest. And finally, for everyone's favorite component in a gaming PC, we have the GPU. This is the RTX 5060 low profile from Gigabyte. And I know what you're thinking, 8 gigabytes of VRAM in the big 2026 just isn't enough, but for a build like this is really the highest end GPU we can get. And honestly, for 1080p gaming, as long as you play with medium to high settings and not maxing out, you won't really exceed your VRAM limit. I actually got mine off AliExpress new for 220 bucks. If you're willing to shop on places like AliExpress, you can save quite a lot of money. I did for the GPU in specific, but if you're a little too sketched out, you can get the RTX 5050 low profile off Newegg for 300. But I'll have links to both options down below as well. So there you have it. Now you know the build. Let's get into some benchmarks and show you what this thing can do. All right, there it is, a $1,000 small form factor gaming PC in 2026. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry for the long upload schedule. It's been a while, but we're back and came back with a banger. Anyways, I'm Riley with All Time Tech. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. We'll catch you in the next one.